Welcome back to the channel, and in this video I'm going to share with you what I think you should bring to every plasma donation. But before I jump into the things that you should bring on each consecutive visit after your first visit, I think I should mention really briefly what you should bring to your first visit. So to get signed up and to start donating plasma, they're going to want to see your ID. I think sometimes they want your actual social security card. You definitely need your social security number. And then they want proof of address. So that could be a letter that's addressed to where you're living, or like a utility bill, some way to prove that you live relatively close to the center. I think it's usually like within 50 miles, so that they can count on you as being a consistent donor. So that's your IDs, like a driver's license or a passport, your social security number, proof of address, and I think that's pretty much it. You're going to want to check with your center to see in case they want you to bring any other sort of documentation or anything to that first physical and donation. But with that out of the way, here are the things that I think are really important to bring with you each time you donate plasma. So let's go. So I'm editing the video, I'm eating some cereal, and I totally forgot the most important thing you need to remember to bring right now when you donate plasma, and that is a mask. Do not forget to bring a mask. Pretty much every plasma center is requiring it right now. Okay, back to the video. The first thing is a way to stay warm. So if you've donated plasma before, you've probably gotten pretty cold. They like to keep the donation bay pretty, not cold, but I feel like it's like 69 degrees or like 70 degrees. It's just, if you're wearing a t-shirt, you could get a little chilly. I mean, the beds aren't particularly warm. It's like kind of cold leather when you lay down, but most importantly, when you're finishing the donation and you get the saline going into your body, to replace the plasma fluids that have been taken out of you, that saline is room temperature. So your body's like 98.5 degrees-ish. And so when you get like a 70-degree liquid going into your body and spreading throughout your arm, it's a really weird sensation that's cold. And so a lot of people like to bring a blanket or a coat or something to keep them warm. I don't actually myself, just because I'm fine. It doesn't bother me that much. I don't want to have to haul it in. But one thing that I was thinking of that might be a good idea, I got this off-brand Snuggie that has like, it's basically just a blanket with sleeves. And I think this is a good idea because instead of just having a blanket that might fall off you, you could wear it like this. I mean, you have to have your arm exposed, so you could just wear it with one arm in, so you can still be doing whatever you're doing with your unoccupied arm and be covered up pretty well with a blanket to keep you warm while you have the needle in this arm. So I feel like that's a pretty good option, something to be aware of. I'll put a link in the description below. This is just a nice cheap one I found on Amazon. The second thing that you should bring is entertainment. You're gonna be hooked up to the plasma machine for close to an hour. If you're really lightweight and are barely heavy enough to donate plasma, you'll spend the least amount of time. And then I've mentioned in previous videos, the machines that they use, they have a couple different plasmapheresis machines. And the ones that use the general, like standard centrifuge, take a little longer. The other ones that have like a semi-permeable membrane are a little faster at separating the blood, getting you through the cycles quick. So anyway, you're gonna be there from probably like a half hour to an hour hooked up to the machine. So, I mean, you could definitely bring your phone as your general or primary source of entertainment. Sometimes I like to bring a tablet. This is just the Amazon new Kindle Fire 10 2021 version, the 11th generation version. I don't know, it's their newest one. It's pretty cheap. It's a good tablet for how cheap it is. So access to Hulu, Disney Plus, Netflix, some games, whatever you want to do that way. And then to go along with that, so you don't want everybody listening to the, you know, the sounds or the music or the videos that you're watching, AirPods or some sort of Bluetooth headphones are really nice, just so you don't have that cable getting tangled up with the, you know, the plasma tubes and stuff. Sometimes they do a crossover where the machine is on the opposite side of the bed from the arm that you like to donate from, and so they actually have the tube coming across your body. So having extra wires can be kind of annoying. So it might be a good idea to use a Bluetooth set of headphones. The next thing I think would be a good idea to bring is something to squeeze. So plasma centers in the past have supplied like a PVC pipe or something just to squeeze while you pump your fist to keep the blood flowing nice when they're drawing from you. And so, but because of COVID and things like that, they're trying to be as sanitary as possible. Some plasma centers will sell you some sort of like stress ball or thing to squeeze, or I know that some of them have given me like a wad of paper towels because they can just throw that away afterward. But if you have your own little stress toy or something like that you can use, that can be a good option to keep you pumping and do it in a comfortable manner instead of just having to squeeze your fist. That can get old, and I know doing this for a while has actually like made my forearm really tight, which isn't comfortable while you have a needle in your arm, but you need to keep squeezing, and it just makes the process a little less fun. So something to squeeze is a good idea. And to go along with that, let me grab this. This is a really big version because I like to wrap all my bandages around this ball just to keep track of how many times I've gone. And it's not like I can look at this and say, oh, that's like 60 donations worth, but I think it'll be fun to see how big I can make this. But I have seen a lot of donors that will take the bandage and make like a small, stress toy almost out of it to squeeze while they're donating. And you might think that seems a little gross. In my experience, the only thing that gets on these is the iodine that they rub on your arm. Like none of these bandages I have on this ball have any blood on it. That all gets like stopped by the gauze they put on. So don't be too freaked out or grossed out by that. The last thing that you might want to bring, and I'll give you a few disclaimers with this, is water. So this seems obvious. You obviously want to prepare and hydrate really well before you go donate plasma. Sometimes though, you're going to be waiting in line for a while before you get to the bed, and so just having water with you can be a good idea to keep your fluids up. I will say this though, if you hydrate too well and then you're strapped, hooked up to the machine for an hour, and you might need to like pee really bad during that process. That actually happened to me one of the last times I went. It was kind of a miserable experience. Like it was bad. I drank so much water. I've never had to pee so bad in my entire life. Like I was like, oh, I just have to get through this, but you're like at the mercy of the speed of the machine. And I had like 2 more cycles to go through, and I was just like, I have to pee so bad. But it wasn't just like I was gonna, sorry if this is too much information, I just think it's funny, but it wasn't like I was gonna like pee my pants. It was like I was like cramping up. This was not good. I was like, I'm doing damage to my body almost, because I just have too much fluid that I gotta get rid of. And so I told one of the phlebotomists, I was like, I am sorry, I just really need to pee. And so what they ended up doing for me is they made sure to just watch closely for when I was getting close to the end of my donation. When the saline started coming in, they just made sure that I got all my red blood cells back, because if I didn't get all my red blood cells back, I would be deferred and wouldn't be able to donate as soon as I could normally if that happened. And then they just didn't give me the saline to get me out of the bed sooner so I could go to the bathroom. So anyway, you want to avoid that awkwardness and that discomfort. Instead of the saline, I got like a Powerade or something to replenish my fluids, and they watched me to make sure I didn't get lightheaded or anything. But water's good, just be careful. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. But those are my tips for what you should bring to your plasma donation appointments. I hope this was helpful. If you have any recommendations for things that I didn't include, leave those things in the comments. As always, you're more than welcome to ask questions in the comments. I love to interact with you and answer questions that I can. And I appreciate all of you that have watched and subscribed. It means a lot to me. We just passed 1,000 recently, and that's a really exciting milestone. So thank you so much. Keep watching, keep subscribing, recommend things you'd like to see. I want to give you as much valuable information as I can, and we'll see you in the next video.